The last time I saw this man, we were at a Jay-Z concert in Toronto celebrating and singing along the 444 album. It's rare to find him in Toronto, though, because this young emerging actor spends his time on various coasts working on TV project after TV project after movie project after movie project. And when he's not on your big screen, he's electrifying red carpets as a trendsetter with sophisticated chic. Shamier Anderson, welcome to the Cabbie Presents podcast, sir.
I'm glad I didn't wear a tracksuit, so thank you.
Yeah, but you would have worn like a friggin' Balenciaga or a Gucci tracksuit or something. You're not just wearing Champion anymore. Or
I'm still wearing Champion. I'm still a Scarborough boy. I still be rocking Champion, you know?
Listen, the last time I saw you, when we were at this concert, you were wearing a grill.
Now my God.
Yeah. And there's probably no photographic evidence. I might have to go on a deep dive on Getty or Google to find you with a grill or something, or somebody tagging you in a photo. Does the grill come out on special occasions?
Yo, the grill, see the grill, that's my Scarborough roots. You know what I'm saying? If I can keep it 100% real, the grill, any of my boys know me, I like my grill. But obviously, you know, the grill has to be pulled out in specific and particular situations. Very rarely the grill will come out. But yes, in situations like the Jay-Z concert in Toronto, after 10 p.m., the grill may come out with a little bit of liquor inside of you, you know?
Right, yeah. As Jay-Z says, when the Remy's in the system.
The Remy's in the system.
Are there special occasions where the grill comes out? Because I've seen on your IG and when you guys have the annual Black Ball, there's no grill in that. That is just straight up like everybody looks 100, like tailored, custom suits, bespoke suits.
Oh, man.
And that is a very special occasion, but I haven't seen the grill in any of those photos. So where else does it make an appearance?
The grill, it makes an appearance usually. Man, I mean, I don't even plan it. Sometimes it just happens when it happens, it's just... I don't even know. The grill, wow. To be honest with you, that may have been the last time I wore the grill, to be real with you.
Okay.
So the grill hasn't made an appearance in a long time. I think my PR team has advised me not to wear grills, on red carpets.
Listen, I just happened to see you
But that
day.
was the one-off chat. Wow, it's incredible you remember that.
If you were to play a character where for some reason the character had a grill, would you just wear your own, or would you get them to make a new one for you? You'd be like, guys, wardrobe, I got my own.
I definitely wear my own. I definitely wear my own. It's already in, that's been worn in.
Right.
Because I don't know if you know about grills. Once you get your first grill, it takes some time to just kind of, just get in there,
Oh, no, I've never worn. Listen, I'm not cool at all.
Man, anybody can wear a grill. Okay, Madonna wears grills. You can wear a grill.
She's an icon, and I have a long way to go to reach that status. Okay, speaking about concerts, do you ever, like the rest of us, get a certain amount of FOMO when 6 or 8 or 10 people that you're following on Instagram are all at the same concert? You're just like, I miss Travis Scott or friggin' Chance or Jay-Z or Drake. You're just like, man, everybody's at this concert, it feels like.
100%. Usually during peak moments in the world like Coachella's or, major award shows, and I'm not present or working. Like the Met Gala's happening, in May 6th, actually my birthday, and my brother's going.
Okay.
But I'm working on May 6th, so my phone turns off. I just turn off my phone for the whole day.
But you're going to see the photos the next day, bro.
A couple days sometimes, no joke.
Yeah.
But yes, I do get major FOMO, and I've been very lucky. I've gone to every award show this year, but I'm probably going to be missing the Met Gala because because of work.
Okay, well that's awesome. That's a great.
It's great.
And
it's
maybe next year Anna Wintour will be like, all right, she's sending you the invitation directly.
Hopefully.
That'd be pretty special. And I'm sure, for you, because your Instagram account is like a lookbook for regular dudes. I'm telling you, your fashion game is tight, homie.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Your fashion game is tight. So I imagine the competition level for that event is just you gotta knock it out the park with. You gotta either go way out there,
I know,
or just come with something super classy, like a white tuxedo or black or whatever, and then just. But I'm sure for you, when the time that you do go, you'll put a considerable amount of thought into it, and you'll have a striking look.
I'm hoping.
That's what I think.
Yeah, thank you. Wow, lookbook. That's my Instagram is. Listen, I love feeling good, with the clothes that I put on, and I love fashion so much. I wouldn't say by any means that I'm a very, very keen person in that world, understanding every designer, but I like color palettes and I like feeling good and looking good. But I appreciate the sentiment of the fact of my Instagram being a lookbook, and I take that. So thank you.
It's true, dude. Shout out to Stephan, by the way, your brother.
Yeah.
You guys are same dad, same mom?
Same mom, different dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have older brother, same situation. My dad,
Yeah.
That's for people in the Caribbean. I mean, it's a regular occurrence. You know what I mean? Like,
it's a tick.
It is a tick.
It's a tick.
I was recently interviewing a UFC fighter named Donald Cowboy Cerrone from New Mexico, and I asked him about his guilty pleasures, which we will get to your guilty pleasures in a little bit. But he said Goliath on Amazon Prime is his guilty pleasure show.
Way.
But I haven't seen it, unfortunately, but from what I've been reading online is it's not a guilty pleasure. It's a great show.
Yes.
Season 1, highly rated and very positive reviews.
Right.
Season 2, some people kind of missed the mark. But season 3, which is, I believe you're appearing in season 3.
I am.
How did that come to be? And also, what can we expect from you in season 3? Without giving away too much, because I don't know how much you're allowed to talk about.
Right. I read the script last September during TIFF, actually, and I put a self-tape together while I was in Toronto here, and I put a self-tape together, and I sent the tape in, and then I got a Skype from the director offering me the job.
Sick.
And it was pretty straightforward. Given the role, I would expect, a lot more steps and screen tests and meetings, but they offered it right off of my self-tape. And I can't speak too much on the plot line, but I'll say this, that I do play 2 characters.
Sick.
And it's probably the hardest roles that I've worked on in my entire career, just given the fact of playing 2 characters. I won't, explain too much on what it is and what kind of characters, but this season I can say is going to be very special, very different, pushing the envelope, and just my personal experience working with Billy Bob Thornton, Beau Bridges, Dennis Quaid. We got another Canadian, Graham Greene, on the show as well.
Legend.
I get to work with him, Amy Brenneman. I mean, it's a masterclass. I'm probably the youngest guy on set through and through, from like crew to cast,
Wow, okay.
And like just to be able to, sometimes it trips me out is having our cast chairs, the chairs that we sit in like in between takes, and like I have a photo of Billy Bob Thornton, my chair, and then Dennis Quaid. Nice. And like Dennis Quaid had a moment and said, "Yeah, I remember that film I did, The Parent Trap." I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing." Dennis Quaid has made mention of the Parent Trap. And then Billy Bob Thornton, who is a legend.
Yes.
Like top shotter. You know what I mean? This guy is like, to hear him speak is like, everybody just shut up. His voice is immaculate.
Right.
Just like that southern brooding, slow drawl. I mean, he's cooler than cool itself. It's great.
So the plot of the show centers around a lawyer who was, I guess, down and out in the first season. He was fired by his law firm, and his first big case on his own is against his former law firm. That's the season 1 arc, and then someone dies on a huge corporation's boat or something like that. So I imagine he's still a lawyer, and you come into the fold. How hard is it for you as a young actor that when you're in the company of these OGs, not to geek out too much?
To keep it 100% real with you, man, like I geek out all the time. I don't do it on camera or on set, but places like my trailer, FaceTime in my hotel with my homies. Like this stuff never gets old to me, man, ever. Like I'm from Scarborough, you know what I'm saying? And like, being from Scarborough, being from Metro Housing in Scarborough, living in the hood of my mom and my brothers and my boys who, are seeing our success today. When I'm on set with Billy Bob Thornton, every time I say it, it's like I generally get excited. I generally get like happy. Any film that I'm on, and I just worked with Johnny Depp on another project. We'll discuss it after, but like things like that, like that sentence alone is crazy.
It is crazy. And
to answer your question more specifically, I am professional. I show up. I do my job, and I'm very grateful. And when I rap, and I respectfully let them know that yes, I'm a fan of their work. I respect their work. And I'm very, very blessed to have them as peers and colleagues now. And I think that to me is like just a testament to anything is possible. You know what I'm saying? And like Billy Bob Thornton 5 years ago was just somebody that I used to watch on television and in movies.
Yeah.
And now he's my co-star.
Sick.
He's literally my co-star. It's incredible.
In those times where there's a lot of downtime. Okay, so they're moving cameras or changing positions. There's like sometimes the breaks are 45 minutes or like an hour, adjusting the lights or whatever. In those times, when you're sitting in that chair in between Dennis Quaid and Billy Bob Thornton, and they're having conversations, maybe you guys are talking about the scene or just talking about life or whatever. Are you just like a student, just like absorbing stories from the masters? And also, who tells the best stories?
Great question. I actually do observe, and there's been moments where you'll have Dennis Quaid, Bo Bridges, and Billy Bob Thornton in conversation, and I actually have moments where I sit back and I go, wow, that's like a legends table right there.
Yeah.
You know, and so I do shut up. I do not engage.
Right.
Because they have obviously relationships that go way beyond me. You know, those guys are a lot older than me, and they've known each other, you know, longer than I've even been in the business of acting. And so it's incredible to watch, but I'm very engaged in those conversations. You know, at the end of the day, you know, all star struck stuff aside, you know, we're still peers, we're still working, and we talk on-set, off-set. We still got to work and figure out scenes and dialogue. So it's a very casual process in that sense. But when it does become personal and they have those personal conversations, I definitely recline my seat and just sit back and be like, wow, you know, gems after gems after gems.
Yeah.
But they're just like you and I, just a bunch of boys catching up. Really
That's
and
cool.
truly, man.
Very cool. One last question about Billy Bob Thornton. I was listening to an interview you did on The Hollywood Reporter, one of these roundtable discussions with several actors, and he mentioned that one of the most challenging things for him is the technical jargon in some of the language. So he's playing a lawyer, so a lot of the lawyers speak sometimes he has trouble with. He's played an astronaut in the past. He's played a air traffic controller. So that was the thing that challenges him.
The hardest thing, honestly, for me in that, as well as movies like an Armageddon, the hardest thing for me is always if I have a bunch of technical stuff to say, like lawyer stuff.
Jargon.
Jargon. If you have to say stuff like that, I want to be able to say it knowing what it means.
For you as an actor, what is part of the process or the actual the work that's kind of trickier for you? Is it the memorizing the lines, or is it the figuring out, like, what does this scene mean in the arc of the whole story, or what is it for you?
For me, my process, I come from theater school, right? So I did 4 years of theater school in Scarborough at Wexford Collegiate School for the Arts. And, you know, some would say that's classically trained, stage work, theater work. And so what challenges me is that I really immerse myself in the process of transformation and chameleonizing myself as much as I can. So whether that be changing my hair, changing the way I stand, changing the way I walk, changing like the way I speak, from the inflections and different words and mannerisms, you know, I really try to embody myself in these characters where you'll see very little of me, if that makes sense, even though, yes, you're watching me in theory, but the reality is I'm trying to, you know, essentially create something that's not there and live truthfully under these imaginary circumstances. So that's the difficult part, because I'm really hard on myself, and especially, not to give away too much, again, the character, I'm playing 2 characters. One of the characters has a very specific trait about him.
Okay.
So I had to learn a new quality to essentially dialogue to the other. It's a whole thing. But that's the hardest part, because I'm always judging myself, and I'm always making sure that I'm authentically being whatever that character is. You know, I played a gangbanger in a film with Johnny Depp and Forest Whitaker called City of Lies, and I had to play a blood from Compton. I'm not a blood from Compton.
You're a kid from Scarborough, Ontario, Canada.
Ontario, Canada.
Yes,
you know? And so for me, for that process, I actually went to the hood. I spoke with some real authentic Paru members. You know, I had a cosign of some people. They will remain nameless, who are active members. And they, you know, gave me the talk. You know, they showed me how to speak it, how to walk it, the signs, the gang signs, the symbols. So it's things like that for me, which is not on the page, but I throw that stuff in the mix to kind of give it that authenticity.
Yeah.
To like really, you know, be authentic on camera.
So when does Gladiator Season 3 come out? When can people go watch it?
Goliath comes out, we don't know yet, but I think they're saying the fall.
Okay.
The fall, yeah.
And then this film with Johnny Depp, when does...
City of Lies should be coming out later this year.
Later this year.
Yeah.
Okay, dope. When I first met you, we were randomly at the Drake Hotel. It's like a spot here in Toronto, and Selma had just come out.
Yes.
And I saw the movie before.
Yeah, you got a good memory.
Well, yeah. Listen, I'm like I have the body of an elephant. I might as well have the memory of an elephant too. So I saw Selma before meeting you. Stephan was in Selma, and then you played like his adversary, or Jesse Owens' adversary in Race.
Yeah, Ulysses Peacock.
Ulysses Peacock, yeah. So where was Race filmed?
We filmed that in Montreal and Berlin, Germany.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
And then who's actually faster in real life? Did you guys do one all out? Like, okay, this take, everybody's going all out.
My character was faster in the film till he tore his hamstring. But
what about real life? Shamier, give me real life.
Real life?
Do you guys have at least like a 40-yard sprint?
To be real, we haven't raced in real life, so I couldn't even tell you.
Not even on the set? Like, oh, just
on the set, yeah. I beat him on the set. You know,
yeah, but you're supposed to.
I'm supposed to, but we actually haven't had a real race. So to be honest, I'd have to revisit that question after I've done that with my brother. So I got to see if we can have a race.
One of these days when, as you said, the Remy's in the system, I don't know if you feel like this, but sometimes when I've had too many adult beverages, I feel like I'm very fast.
Adult beverages.
And then I just want to run. I don't know what that is. I just want to run down the street. And I'm a rhinoceros and an elephant, so I'm not moving very fast. But in my brain, I am whizzing down the street. I'm moving like a Porsche, my dude. Anyway, and then the next time I saw you, we had you just happened to have a night. You just threw a night at the Soho here in Toronto, and you had like a bunch of people come by and that sort of thing. When did the idea for the annual Black Ball start, and when was the first one?
3 years ago was the first one, and the idea started 4 years before that. So the year before I launched the first one, where I used to come to the festival, just as an audience member, as a fan.
You're talking about
Toronto International Film Festival in Toronto that happens in September. And I mean, for me, it was super incredible. And I just felt specifically there was a lack of Black celebration and Black filmmakers. And so I said, hey, I feel like, I'm doing some pretty cool stuff in the industry. My brother's doing some pretty cool stuff in the industry. We are Black, we are young men, and but from Toronto at least, it's very rare to see, if we've seen it at all, young Black male actors, that come from our city, specifically from Scarborough. So I wanted to create an initiative and an organization that not only celebrates, but also empowers and uses the platform to spark change in different ways, whether it be sponsorships or, educating different filmmakers. And so we founded the Black Ball, which stands for Building a Legacy in Acting, Cinema, and Knowledge. And Stephan and I came up with this abbreviation, and it stands for Black, which is great. And we started 4 years ago now. We'll be celebrating the fourth year, and we did it first year in Toronto at Versailles. The second year, we did it at Wildflower. And the third year, we actually partnered up with the Toronto International Film Festival. Cameron Bailey gave us the cosign.
Sick.
Shout out to Cameron Bailey, who's the artistic director of TIFF. And we were an event partner with TIFF, and we celebrated at the TIFF Bell Lightbox this past year, which was incredible. And then given just how much growth that my brother and I have in our careers, but also with our organization, we launched it in Los Angeles this year, at the Oscars.
So it was the day before the Oscars or the day of the Oscars?
It was the week. It was the week
of the Oscars.
It was in tandem, I should say, rather. We weren't affiliated, but it was happening during the week of all the Oscar celebrations. And that happened on the Oscars were the 24th? I think we did on the 20th, on the Wednesday, just kind of as a kickoff. And we had a lot of Canadians come out. A lot of Scarborough mans came out. Scarborough girls came out.
I had serious FOMO just looking at your guys' Instagram feeds. I'm like, was Tiffany Haddish was there?
Yeah, she pulled up.
And then Julia Roberts was there?
Julia didn't come. Barry Jenkins pulled up, though.
Where did I see a photo with
Julia? Probably at some other events that we did.
Did you guys do a Golden Globes party?
We didn't do a Golden Globe party, but we partied at the Golden Globes.
That's what I saw
with our cast members. Yeah,
that's what I saw.
So Amazon had a party, and all the stars were there, and it's great, and we're gonna get ready for this year to do it again, and we're gonna be honoring some individuals, and it's just great to be able to use the platform that Stephan and I are building to just have others use their skill sets, talents, and gifts to just shine. That's our main goal, is to have people from where we're from shine. That's it.
Speaking of Stephan, you guys are like the leanest friggin' dudes. Have you embraced that vegan life as you've been in Los Angeles for the past 3-4 years?
I'm a Jamaican through and through, so vegan.
So when you come home, is that oxtail or rice and peas?
All the time. You know, I respect
you.
vegans, I respect vegetarians and people's specific dietary restrictions. But for me, I'm a Jamaican. I love my oxtail and jerk chicken and goat too much. So,
So you haven't embraced that vegan life?
I have not embraced that vegan life.
How do you stay so lean then?
It's
or are there even any Jamaican spots in Los Angeles?
There is one. There
really?
is one.
Where is it? And what's it called? Guy, you can tell. Guy, what do you mean? You're not revealing a hidden gem. I mean, you are kind of revealing a hidden gem, but sharing is caring, Shamier.
Oh man, it's a pretty dope spot off of Pico called We Jammin'. And I mean,
that's the most Jamaican name ever.
So like, I'm not, but they're good, Yeah, We Jammin'. And shout out to Coolies, actually, on set of Goliath. They know how Jamaican, how proud I am to be Jamaican. And shout out to Keegan and the whole catering craft service team. They brought me Jamaican food my last night there before I came to Toronto.
Sick.
So they brought me oxtail, rice and peas, goat, plantain, fried dumplings.
So you flew home with a full belly.
Hey, bong, belly bong.
Guy, I just hit you immediately. Guy. You were
Immediately.
Just in the seat, you
knockout thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. No, but they know it. So I'm like, wow. So I think for future, when my star power grows a little bit, I'll probably put it in my rider.
As you should.
Jamaican food, this necessity,
Late night eating is the adversary of a healthy diet. Additionally, when looking to feed your attention deficit disorder, there are dozens of other podcasts on TSN's YouTube page and about 7,000 Cabbie Presents episodes just waiting to be judged and adored. Now, back to actor Shamier Anderson, living in Los Angeles, and that time he met Beyonce. I have a segment called This is G-Rated, and I'm not a G-rated person. Speaking of guilty pleasures, for some people, Jamaican food is a guilty pleasure. I have a segment where I ask my guests to reveal either a terrible snack food or a trashy TV show that they consume, which are not all the way proud to admit that they do, but they will admit here on the Cabbie Presents podcast. So what is your guilty pleasure, sir?
My guilty pleasure. Oh, man. Guilty pleasure. There's a few. That's the funny part.
Go on and just share with the people.
Guilty pleasure. Dang.
Like after 2:30 a.m., is there a thing that you reach for in the cupboard, or you're on your way, or you stop at like a Jack in the Box or one of those types of things?
It's after 2:30 a.m. It's a double cheeseburger dressed like a Mac from McDonald's. With sweet and sour sauce on the side, and I put it on the double cheeseburger.
And how many do you order?
I order like 2 to 3 sometimes. Still, I can't even lie.
Guy, we've all been involved in that McDonald's, that late night McDonald's life.
Yeah, double cheeseburger dressed like a Mac. But usually, shout out to Pat's. I went to Pat's last night. Actually, I flew in and I went to Pat's.
Nice. Pat's on Queen Street West.
On Queen Street, and I got some rice
Caribbean
and
food
peas
place.
Yep, curry goat. And oxtail mix, half and half.
That is a hearty meal. Yeah,
it is a hearty meal.
I used to live right around the corner from there, so I would hit Pat's at least once or twice a week.
Yeah, 100%.
It didn't help my stomach much, but and it hasn't recovered, but it's still, I've been hitting hard. Okay, speaking of LA, did you ever? So people at home may not know this, but for a long time, there was a hotel where Canadian actors, when they traveled to LA for pilot season, they would stay at this one hotel called the Highland Gardens. They stay there for a week or for a month, usually between like February and April, which used to be the traditional pilot season. I don't know if it still is pilot season because with streaming and everything, the seasons kind of change. Yeah. When you first started going to LA, did you ever stay at the Highland Gardens, or have you ever even been there?
I drive by it. I've never been there, and I'm aware of it. I felt like I didn't even have enough money to even stay there, to be honest.
When you first started going?
When I first started going to LA. So I moved to LA and I was staying in some apartments in like East Hollywood, an apartment in East Hollywood with my brother, actually. We came together. It was just like a couple suitcases and we shared a car. And yeah, we never had money to afford Highland Gardens. I feel like that's even past our budget. I
stayed there once and I just went, a friend of mine was this, do you know Shawn Ashmore?
Of course. I did a movie with Shawn Ashmore. Long time. Or was it Aaron Ashmore? I know. I worked with both
they're
of them.
twins. So
I actually worked with Aaron Ashmore on Killjoys. I was in Killjoys with Aaron
sick.
Ashmore.
Yeah.
That's a throwback. So you say the company's planning a slaughter?
Yes. And that is bad.
Do you think this is funny?
No.
Huh? Half my family was assassinated for questioning Dulce and counsel.
I'm putting myself at risk right now because you promised me proof that she is up to something.
You just be cool, okay? We found the vector.
What is he talking about?
Poison. It's in the company rations.
Poison. So you have proof.
We're gonna get some, definitely.
So you don't have it.
And Shawn Ashmore, I did do a film with Shawn Ashmore. It's with Stephen Moyer, myself, Shawn Ashmore.
Guy, you've done that many projects where you're forgetting projects
No.
now?
No. Let's slow down for a second. I'm forgetting because my part was extremely small. That's why. So let me rephrase. I didn't work with Shawn Ashmore. Okay, I was in a film where Shawn Ashmore was starring in. Okay, let's just be real.
The first time I went to LA, I stayed at Highland just for a weekend. Sean and Aaron were there for pilot season and like met so many Canadians. And then a guy I went to school with at Ryerson, this guy named Martin Garrow, who wrote Blind Spot. He wrote a show called LA Complex, which was based on Highland, the Highland Gardens Hotel. And it was on MTV here, and I think MTV in the States, or maybe Nickelodeon. It's one of like those like teen dramas or whatever. Anyway, I'd like you to, if you can, share one of these random Hollywood party stories. I'll tell you mine, and it's not even that great. I was celebrating, in order to share under the trust tree. I was celebrating New Year's Eve, and we went to like the Wiltern, and Dr. Dre was there. I geeked out about Dr. Dre, and this was so long ago. I was like, oh, there's a Canadian kid named, you're working with this guy named Drake, who's like writing for you. He's like, yeah, Drake's super talented. And DJ AM, God bless the dead, he was still alive. He was performing with Travis Barker. AM was cutting on the turntables, and Barker was playing the drums. And anyway, so that night we went to an after party in the Hollywood Hills. I'm like, oh, I'm going to the Hollywood Hills. And a friend of mine was dating an actress. And her sister was like dialed into, the LA scene. So we went to this big house, infinity pool, and we got there like 2:30, and the music was awful. It was like whatever like the worst music in Ibiza is at one of these parties in Ibiza, that's what was playing at this particular party. Anyway, there was like a chef, like a whole crew making like sandwiches or whatever. So I was just walking around because I'm like, I want to see what's up. And then there was one part I got to this one particular bathroom which had frosted glass, and then there were just bodies like beyond the glass that were just enjoying themselves. I was like, wow, I wanted to put my ear up against the glass or whatever, just like, oh, do you guys need anyway, but I didn't. But that was the only kind of wild Hollywood party that I've ever been to where things were happening all around. I wonder if you had a similar experience, as you're there way more often than I am.
Yeah. I've been to a few Hollywood parties. I'll just speak on a recent one. I actually, after the Oscars, Jay-Z and Beyonce, they do a private party called the Gold Party that happens. And so I was very, 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 very fortunate enough to receive an invite. And I went to that party this year.
Where was it? Do you remember the venue?
I mean, I wonder how much I could share. I think, I could share that. Martha came with me. Martha, she works with the blackball team, showing with the executives, and she was my plus one. But it was at the Chateau Marmont, but like in this like exclusive part that like not even I think the Chateau Marmont guests know about. But it was a dope party. I mean, the pictures are online. You can see them.
Oh, was that the one where Kevin Hart did the toast?
No, that was the Rock Nation brunch.
Oh,
that was
goodness.
dope. That was dope as well. I was actually there as well.
Wow,
I went to the Rock Nation brunch, and that was really dope. And I'll speak on that one. That one's like, very iconic because it's been happening for so many years now. And I received an invite this year. I went with my brother and Martha as well. And we got to experience Jay-Z, P. Diddy, Meek Mill, Kevin Hart, DJ Khaled. I mean, just legends on legends, Beyonce. And just what to me was the coolest part is the embracement of just black people celebrating black success
and excellence. Yeah.
And to really be in that company of greatness, real special for me to be celebrating it with my brother, from knowing where we came from was super incredible. And it's just, you could imagine, it was dancing, good vibes, being in the circle. I geeked out over Meek Mill. I love Meek Mill, so that was super dope. And a lot of those same individuals were at the Jay-Z and Beyonce Oscar party, the Gold Party, which was super cool. I mean, just to be able to have that invite in your email inbox is just unreal. You know, the Rock Nation brunch, I had to like pick up an envelope that like had like a barcode that was only for one person.
Right.
You know, like a pre-check-in. Like it was like a whole process, you know, but it was just it was a moment for sure. It was a bucket list, you know, for sure. Check.
Okay, wait, before you go, can you just describe the setting or like how was it ornate? Were there angels singing like by a harp? Because Beyonce is like magic. She's the queen. And I wonder if Beyonce just floats. I've never seen her in real life. I've just seen her in concert. But does Beyonce just float as a regular, like when she moves in open space?
I feel like she flies in open space. Floating is just like an understatement at this point, I think. I think flying is more appropriate for what Beyonce does. Soars.
It's almost like she moves in water, like the way you move in water. It's I feel like that's how, because Beyonce's not going to be in a rush. No one rushes the queen. The queen arrives when she arrives. And the party starts when she gets there.
That is true. I mean, I got to be in her presence, you know, and that to me was just like, whoa. I've seen her in concert. That's, you know, we met at the 4-4. Well, we met at the Jay-Z concert, but I also saw the On the Run tour as well. But I saw her, you know, a couple times, and it's just an honor, you know, to be in that greatness and just being like, wow, we belong, you know. But Beyonce is Queen Bee, you know.
Were people dancing? Or was it more of like more of a sophisticated thing?
Nah, people were dancing.
People turning up.
You know black people, man.
I just heard Malcolm Gladwell has this podcast. The podcast is called Broken Record. And the second one, Questlove talks about playing Obama's final night in the White House.
Right.
So he crafted this like 7-hour set that he played in Central Park 2 days before, and it murdered in Central Park. It was like an anthology of music. Like he went back to the 30s. He was like a PhD in music. Brought the same playlist to the White House. And he said it flopped. And because like Obama's kids were like,
what is this?
Yeah, what is it? So then Quest was taking, so Obama would, and he has this pretty good, I don't have a good President Obama impression, but Obama would come up like, hey, do you have any French Montana?
No.
So then, you know, Questlove's like, he's describing, he's like, I'm going on my laptop, I'm trying to find French Montana and like find just some songs to like turn up the party. And so
crazy.
Even at the White House, we turn up.
Yeah, of course.
So I imagine at the Chateau Marmont, it was. Now that you're saying, like, of course, you know us, we're very vibrant people. We like to dance and celebrate.
Of course, it was a turn up for sure. I mean, it was. You know, I won't speak on any specifics, but there was a lot
Shamier,
of,
that's what I want you to say, my dude.
Listen, I can't be I want to be able to go back every year, and I don't know how many beans I can spill, and then this goes viral, and I don't get an invite because I told y'all something I wasn't supposed to tell y'all. We could talk about it off camera, but you know, Martha was there, and she like.
Martha's not being. You're trying to implicate Martha. Martha's not being. Martha's thinking in the background. She doesn't want to be implicated. She's like, I want my invite too, mother bleeper. So
yeah, you know, but I can just say it was a moment. You know?
Okay,
it was a moment. I mean, Drake pulled up. I'll give you that. Drake pulled up like a boss. You know what I'm saying? He was there, so it was cool.
Can you give us a quick Johnny Depp story before you go?
Oh, he's the man. He's the man.
Like, does Johnny Depp he's got so many different accents and like pieces of accents because there's so many different characters. So like his regular speaking in this movie, did he have his regular speaking voice?
Like I don't even know. I wouldn't know because he was in character. So maybe it was a regular speaking voice or maybe it was the character. You know, funny story on Johnny Depp is when I got this film, I beat out a lot of actors for the role.
Of course.
And, after getting the film, the director made a point of that. Brad Furman, shout out to Brad Furman, he's incredible. And he said, this is Shamier Anderson, the guy that beat out all these actors for the role. And I got a knock on my trailer. And it was the AD, the assistant director, said, hello, Mr. Anderson. The director and Johnny Depp would like to see you, please. So I'm on set. It's the first time I'm meeting Johnny. I'm like, literally, I was wearing a tracksuit and I was sweating. And I remember this so clearly. And I zip up my tracksuit, I had no shirt underneath. And I come on my trailer. and like, you don't have a marine on, it's sweaty, you know what I'm saying? And so like, I go to the trailer, it's like, and a security guard, Johnny's security, stops me and goes, who are you? I'm one of the cast members in the film, and then the AD's like, no, he's fine. He's like, okay, come on in. So we're waiting, anticipation. Johnny obviously doesn't come out the trailer right away. Brad Furman comes out and goes, oh yo, Johnny, it's that dude Shamier I was telling you about, man. Come meet him, right? And Brad's like, what's up, man? Welcome to set. Congratulations. Johnny hasn't come out yet. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the anticipation's building.
You're sweating even more,
right? And then Johnny Depp comes out the trailer and he goes, hey, Shamier Anderson, Heard a lot about you. Pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to meet you. Happy to have you here. And then he gives me a hug. And at that moment is when I said, my life's complete. And that was it. Scar Romance made it. The Scar Romance made it. I was so like, for me, it's Edward Scissorhands. So for me, I was looking at Edward in the flesh. I was like, oh my God, it's Edward. But only a few people know that story. So Cabbie, you got that. So,
I appreciate the exclusive.
That's the exclusive I could get. But it was a great experience, man. I got to work with JD and get to be in his world, and I'm excited for people to see this film. It's a darker film. It's a darker piece.
Okay.
Darker qualities of myself. I don't play a good guy, yeah. So I'm excited for people to see that.
So that went. Sorry, it's City of Lies.
City of Lies. Yes.
City of Lies. So that's later, 2019, and then Gladiator season 3, also in 2019.
Goliath season 3.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay,
Goliath.
Goliath season 3. Yeah.
And then something else starting May 6th, which we will perhaps see in the fourth quarter of 2019, or even 2020.
Sure. Well, we'll hopefully make an announcement. I was hoping to have an announcement this week, but some delay, so we'll have probably an announcement in the next few weeks. So.
I'm excited for you, man.
Thanks, man.
I'm
I appreciate
excited.
It. Thank you.
So on Instagram, you can follow Shamier's adventure at Shamier Anderson, Shamier Anderson, Anderson.
You got it.
And if you want some ideas about style, Shamier Anderson is your plug.
I appreciate you, Cabbie.
Thank you for having me.
Much,
Thank you for being on the Cabbie Presents podcast.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, bro.